Hey there, comic book fans. It's Rusty again with Collector Auctions, and here I am in the car, headed to another new comic book day at one of my favorite comic book shops. But it is not my LCS in Annapolis, Maryland, my usual go-to for new comic book day. This particular weekend, I've been down in West Virginia visiting my hometown as well as the West Virginia State Fair. So on my way back here, I decided to go through and not go back the normal way I would come back to Maryland, but decided to stop in Charlottesville, Virginia at one of my favorite comic book shops, Hello Comics. Now, I've spotlighted Hello in the past. I've done several videos already with new comic book days from this shop, and one of the reasons I made this decision was I knew they were going to have most, if not all, of the new comic books I wanted for this particular new comic book day. But I wanted to go through their back issue bins as well. It's been well over a month or so since I've been there, and I was itching to get back into those bins again. So we're going to stop in, we're going to get our new comic books, we're going to go through the back issue bins, and then we're going to get out of there and head back to Maryland. And once we're there, I'll sit down and we'll go through everything. So stay tuned and I'll be right back. All right, everybody, as you can see, I did not shoot any footage inside of Hello Comics. I made a decision once I was in there, and I started going through all of the new comic book days that came out today, as well as started looking at some of the back issues that were on the wall, and I realized I wasn't going to have enough time to do both and get back up to Maryland on a timely basis. It was going to take a while to get back up through here. When I make that decision to come back from West Virginia through Charlottesville, that means I have to go around the DC Beltway to get home, and that puts me right in the middle of rush hour, and that's where I'm sitting right now, inching along. I'm about ready to hit Maryland here as we go around the Beltway, and man, I probably shouldn't be filming this while I'm driving, but we're going so slow I could probably get out and do a whole show outside. But what a bunch of great comics that I picked up today at Hello Comics. They have a tremendous amount of back issues. They range from all the way from the Golden Age up to brand new modern variants, and they actually do a pretty good job with some of the variant ratios that come out for New Comic Book Day. And they still have some of the ones from previous New Comic Book Days as well. And so not only did I pick up new comic books today, I picked up a ton of old back issues. And I think I picked up some pretty good books. So let me get home, and once I'm there, I'll sit down and I'll show off everything I picked up today. So stay tuned and I'll be right back.
2 hours later.
Okay, guys, I finally made it back to Maryland. I had a safe trip getting through that DC traffic. It's always tough coming through that part of the Beltway that time of day, but it was worth it going to Hello Comics to be able to pick up the new comics. That was fine, but to be able to go through the back issue bins. So I got home, I bagged and boarded all the new comics, and I've got all the comics sitting here ready to go. So let's just get into it. So what did I pick up for New Comic Book Day? Well, as you guys know, I pre-order most of my new comics from M&M Comics 2 to 3 months in advance to get those big discounts. But I use New Comic Book Day to be able to pick up variant covers and books that just weren't on my radar 2 to 3 months ago. So that's what I usually do with Third Eye Comics, but that's what I did with Hello Comics on this trip. And let me show you what I picked up. I picked up Venom War Spider-Man #1, and I don't care about Venom. I don't care about Venom War. Couldn't care less. But I love Greg Land artwork on Spider-Man, and this was a spectacular cover, and he does the interior artwork as well. It looks pretty intriguing if you read the inside. So this is actually a series I may stay with, mostly because of the artwork, but this is pretty cool. I did pick up this. This is Johnny Quest #1. I don't remember which cover this was. It's not the main cover, but I had pre-ordered this with my subscription service. But this right here was by Tom Rainey, and Tom Rainey is going to be at the Baltimore Comic-Con, and he is a frequent guest of Cards, Comics, and Collectibles. In fact, he was there earlier this year on Free Comic Book Day doing a signing, and this book wasn't out, but if it was, I would definitely take that to get signed, and that's why I bought that book right there, is to be able to take to Baltimore and to get him to sign that. I couldn't pass this up, even though I had pre-ordered the regular cover. I did not get to see the artwork for the Art Germ cover of Spider-Gwen there, and that is absolutely spectacular. So you can't pass up Art Germ when he especially does the girls. So beautiful stuff. I did pick up the latest issue of Geiger, number 5 right there, and I've talked about this Ghost Machine universe. Jeff Johns writing all of this, Geiger with Gary Frank. You've got Rook Exodus with Jason Fabok, and you've got Brian Hitch and Jeff Johns doing Redcoat. And there's other titles coming out as well. And they're killing it. The quality of these books, the quality of the story, the art, everything is top notch. My only complaint is the talent is getting wasted on characters that I don't really care about. I am enjoying these stories, but I don't care about these characters. I care about the Marvel characters. I care about the DC characters. Man, if that talent house would go over to Marvel and just take over, it would be phenomenal. I mean, we've seen it before. Why can't it happen again? Well, mostly because probably Marvel and DC won't pay the money for them to come back in at this point, especially Marvel. But this is pretty good. I had actually contemplated dropping all 3 of these titles, to be quite honest with you. As I said, I don't care about the characters as much, but the artwork and the production values and the writing, everything is really top notch. So I'm continuing with this, even though I said I might drop this. Now, here's the title that I am continuing to read. This is issue number 2 from Dark Horse Comics. It's called Kill All Immortals. This is actually pretty good. I enjoyed this. I've actually already sat down and read this before I even bagged and boarded it. It's not often that I pick up a title that I hadn't heard about before and thumb through it, and I'm going, oh, this is kind of intriguing. So I will continue with Kill All Immortals. I don't know if that's a miniseries or an ongoing. My guess is it's a miniseries. Now, I did pick up this, even though I had pre-ordered the regular facsimile to House of Secrets number 92. I've got that pre-ordered, but I didn't know about this cover. This is of course, that's Beetlejuice there, House of Beetlejuice. And I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know if that's going to be worth any more. I know we've got the new Beetlejuice movie coming out. I think, obviously, that's why it's out right now. I thought that was a pretty cool cover. And then the last 2 new books that came out this week that I wanted to pick up is the same book, but I picked up the Werewolf by Night number 1. I think it's a regular cover, but it's the red band version. And quite honestly, I don't know if they did a regular book of this without the red band, because at Hello Comics, all they had were red band versions. But I did want to pick up this. This is a pretty cool cover. I don't know who did the art to that, but when I was doing my research for today's new comic books, I saw that cover for Werewolf by Night, and I'm going, oh, I like that a lot. I didn't know it was a foil variant, much less a red band foil variant. So that cost a little bit more than cover price there, but still pretty cool. Some good stuff. And then the only other new comic book I picked up was, I believe, from last week. But surprisingly, Third Eye Comics did not have a copy of this. And it was on my list last week. Luckily, I do have it pre-ordered, and I don't mind having extra copies of this. It's a facsimile of Betty and Me number 16 with that risque cover of Archie rescuing Betty from the 3 guys that he had to beat off to save her. So we'll just leave it at that. Now, we get into the back issue bins, and we got a bunch of stuff, and I'm just going to start because I've got a stack of things here, and I'm not going to go through and spend a lot of time with a lot of these, but we'll start with the good ones, the really good ones here. We got Showcase Presents number 97. This right here is the origin of Power Girl, and this is a book right here. It actually has some value at a 9.8. $545, $635, $235. Most of these sales were at the end of 2023. 9.6s went earlier this year for $165, $132, and $103. So at Hello Comics, and although I didn't do any footage of this particular show, above all the new comics, above them, pinned to the wall, are these comics. A lot of keys are up there, and I actually had to have them take this comic down so I could take a look at it. And one look at this spine, this all black spine down through here. And I took it. I was like, oh, no problem. I'm taking this book. This book right now has a lot of potential for that 9.8. I'm excited about getting this into the shop. Also on the wall was a book that I'd had at one point, but I can't find it because I'm getting ready to go to Baltimore Comic-Con. Michael Cho's going to be there, and I've got some Space Ghost books for him to sign. But even though I had bought this book, I can't find it right now. I had to get another copy of Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man number 46 with this Michael Cho variant. I love this right here. I just couldn't find it. And I keep wanting to go to Unknown Comics. I keep going to their website, and they keep wanting to sell it for $12, and they had this for $9. So I went ahead and picked it up at Hello Comics right there. So I've got another comic. I'll have to throw this into the Michael Cho folder, a pile of comics that I'm going to get signed at Baltimore Comic-Con. Now, at Hello Comics on Fridays, they have Fresh Fridays where they have a lot of key comics that they put out, sometimes for really good prices. And I'm never there on Friday because I'm working. And the only time I can ever make it to Hello Comics, honestly, is when I visit West Virginia and I'm coming back on either Tuesdays or Wednesdays. And I get to go through what books are left. And they have a bunch of bins up by the front counter. And good prices on some of them. Sometimes it's not any different from what's in the regular bins. But they have some books up there. I go through everything to see if anything pops out. Well, this popped out, and I thought this was a pretty cool cover. Avengers Prelude, Black Widow Strikes. And I think this is from 2012. And I looked it up, and issues 1 and 3 actually have photo covers with Scarlett Johansson, and those are pretty cool, and I bet you those are actually more valuable than this. But I thought this was a great Black Widow cover right there. I don't know who does the artwork. I didn't look it up. It didn't list it on Go Collect, so I don't know who did this. I guess I'll have to go to Cover Price, not Cover Price. What's the other one? Comicbookpriceguide.com. Maybe they'll have the information there. Not any value to this, by the way, getting it graded. Now, 2 books. I picked up 2 copies of Something Skilling in Children, number 1. This is the 8th print right here. And why am I picking up more copies of this? Because James Tynion is going to be appearing again at Third Eye Comics here in September. And I want to bring some more stuff to get signed. But I'm kind of over getting every book from every project that he does signed at this point. I'm going to focus on books I think are more meaningful. Things like Something Skilling in Children, some of his Batman books, especially the ones where you get to introduce Punchline, and not focus on other side projects as much. I probably will definitely get his new book, Nice House by the Sea, I think is the follow-up to Nice House on the Lake, but I'm not going to worry about Department of Truth. I'm not going to worry about The Closet or any of the Blue Book or any of these other little titles that he's been putting out. World Tree, I don't care. I think I'm going to focus on Something Skilling in Children, and like I said, some of those Batman Punchline books to get signed. Oh, and I've got some beautiful Something Skilling in Children, the first 5 issues with the variant covers done by David Mack that I had David Mack sign last year at Baltimore Comic-Con. I'm going to bring all 5 of those to have James Tynion sign as well. So that's why I picked up these right here, is they have Tynion sign those. And what would a trip to Hello Comics be without going through the Invaders books all over again? And at this point, I'm down to about 5 issues plus the King Size Annual. Now I'm to the point where I'm constantly looking for upgrades to any of the books that I already have. And this is one I've been picking up recently a couple times, in fact. Issue number 28. I've literally paid anything from $1 to this one I paid $4 for. It's tough with that black cover, but not a key, and you've got this beautiful Frank Robbins artwork. Guys, Frank Robbins was probably one of the greatest artists of the 70s, and but he didn't have a lot of covers for the Invaders run, but he did most of the interiors. But you got Bucky on the cover with Toro, and I thought that was pretty cool. But this was a pretty decent copy, and definitely an upgrade, I think, from that dollar copy I just bought at one of the comic shows. But every time I go there, I go through every one of those Invaders books. And I mentioned before, a lot of the Invaders run that I have picked up over the last couple years came from Hello Comics. So I appreciate that. What's left are pretty worn out comics at this point. There are a lot of defects that I can't buy anymore at this point. That was the best copy of that. I think they still have some really good issue number 41s. I've bought too many of those in the past, so I didn't pick up any of those. All right, so then it comes down to what else was I looking for? And you know me, I went to the Defenders, and I started looking through those. And to be honest with you, those prices I felt were a little high for the quality of the books that they had. And honestly, at this point, I just was like, no, I can pass on these Defender books. As much as I love the Invaders, I don't love the Defenders, even though I'm going to continue working on it. If they'd had some lower numbers in better conditions, I probably would have picked up some of those. But there was nothing that was jumping out that I really cared about enough. And so I'm looking at some of the other titles, and I'm looking, and I'm going through some of my list of some of the runs I'm working on. All-Star Squadron, I didn't really find anything I was really wanting. But what did I say? I'm a big fan of All-Star Comics. And I went through that, and I couldn't find anything that was good enough that I wanted to add to my PC. But when you start doing All-Star Comics, and if you start doing JSA, that leads into Infinity Inc. And I went to Infinity Inc. and I just did a show. I went to a dollar show where I picked up a bunch of Todd McFarlane Infinity Inc. books. And they had some surprising value if you can get those 9.8s from CGC. I mean, we're talking anywhere from $130 up to $200 for some of those. And I was like, hey, let's take a look at the Infinity Inc. It's right there. I could see it sitting real close to the All-Star Comics. And I started going through this, and I'm going, okay, let's just see. Now, I've had some of these over the years, and I know I had issue 1 here, but I went, wow, for $3 and a really nice copy, let's go ahead and pick that up. And surprisingly, I've seen somebody get a 9.8 and sell that for $100. But I've also seen this go recently for $46 for a 9.8. It's not really a key comic, and it's not as desirable as you might think, but I thought that was kind of interesting to see the price difference on something like that. But then I started going through the rest of the books, and I'm going, wow, the quality of these are really good. I mean, really good. These were on, I want to say Baxter paper, and they weren't your traditional comic book. The covers are a little bit thicker. You've got that Baxter paper on the interior. And I'm sitting here going, wow, these are good. They're spine tick free. And it's $1. I mean, if I went to a dollar sale and I saw this book for $1, I'd pick it up. Well, $1 for issue number 2, for number 3, for number 4. Here's number 6. And they had some of the issues that I'm going to be missing here. But they did have a spine tick, and I just passed on it. And I'm going, okay, for $1. Wow, that's pretty good. Issue number 7. Issue number 8. Issue number 9. And guys, these are not necessarily key. These are not key comics, but they're really good comics to work on a run. What a fun series here. Almost as fun as the Invaders. And I didn't stop right there, by the way. I just ran out of room right here. We've got issue number 10. And yeah, we got Jerry Ordway artwork. We've got Roy Thomas writing this, the creator of Wolverine. I said with air quotes. Here, let me move that back just a little. There you go. Got issue number 11. Got issue number 12. This is actually a key comic right here. It's the first Yolanda Montez as Wildcat. You got issue number 15. Now this one had some surprising 9.8 value. I've seen $175 and two best offers that were set at $300. So you don't know what the final 9.8 price was on this right here, but well, I do definitely know that last sale was $175 for a 9.8 on this. And then let's put these down because I'm sorry, I should have said one of the reasons you've got the higher price now on this is you're going to start seeing some CGCs now is because you've got Todd McFarlane doing artwork now. And you've got issue number 18. Got issue number 19 and still McFarlane artwork. This right here is the first appearance of Beth Chappell, who becomes the new Dr. Midnight. And you got a McFarlane cover right there too. This is, now these aren't 99 cents at this point. These are $3 a piece. And I think that was still a pretty good deal. This one actually was $5.99. And I'm not sure why, but it's not necessarily a key. Well, it is a key. It is the first appearance of Rick Tyler, who becomes the second Hour Man. It is the first Beth Chappell as Dr. Midnight. Now, the issue 19 was just the first appearance of Beth Chappell. This is the first appearance as her as Dr. Midnight, but not in costume. And issue 20 here, actually $160 for a CGC. Most recently was 2021. I shouldn't say, I misspoke. Not most recently, in $160 in 2021, a whole $89 in 2024. You can see how the balloon has burst and things have come down to reality at this point, even though it is McFarlane artwork. You've got issue 21 right here. This right here is it's again another first appearance. Now it is the first appearance of Rick Tyler as the second Hour Man. And now we have Beth Chappell as Dr. Midnight in her costume. And you can see it on the cover there as well. And these are, again, $3. You got issue number, what is this? Issue number 22. Issue number 23 was a whole $2. And this one right here, actually, the most recent sale was $130. It's a 9.8. And you can tell I kind of went crazy with the Infinity Inc. books right now. I'm killing most of the run in one fell swoop at Hello Comics. Issue number 24. Again, more McFarlane artwork. You got issue number 25. That one's the whole $1. Issue number 27. You got McFarlane cover. Actually, do you? Yeah, McFarlane cover right there, and interior still. And this has a surprising value at $105. This is a 9.8. You got issue number 28. This one has a 9-point value of $130. You got issue number 30. Issue 31. This is a slight key. The Star Spangled Kid becomes Skyman in this. I don't know. I kind of like Star Spangled Kid. I had a ring to it. It was so awkward, but it was kind of cool. Skyman seems kind of boring, doesn't it? We've got Infinity Inc. number 35, 36, and 37. I believe 37 might have been the last McFarlane artwork on this. I know that I stopped at that point when I didn't see any more McFarlane books in the bin. And they had most of the books for Infinity Incorporated. So on a future trip to Hello Comics, if I don't find more copies at a comic book show someplace along the way, the next time I stop at Hello, I may be tempted to go ahead and continue the run now with Infinity Inc. and try to finish this run. I don't even know how many issues it ran. I think it went into the 50s, but I could be wrong. Definitely leave me a comment in the comment section. Let me know what it is if you already know what it is. And then the last one I picked up in that pile was Infinity Inc. Annual number 1 for $3. And you got more McFarlane artwork, and that was a pretty cool cover with Obsidian and Jade there on the cover. All in all, that was a lot of Infinity Ink books to work on a run. And when do you be able to find a run of this many books all at one time at any place? Most comic shops may have a bunch of these, but did they have this many? And trust me, they had multiple copies of a lot of these. So I went through and I've tried to pick out really good copies. But guys, that is it. That is the haul for this new comic book day. You got to let me know what you think of this haul and what do you think about this Infinity Ink run that I'm working on by leaving me a comment in the comment section below. And if you enjoy this kind of content, definitely hit the like, slap the subscribe, and click on that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the content that I put out each and every week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 3 p.m. All right, guys, that is it for today. Thanks for joining me. I will see you for the next show. And remember, every comic has a story.